Books, meant to be read, but how should we treat them? That is the question of the book murderer book tag. Now, I wasn't tagged in this, but I am going to have a say because that's what I do sometimes. And I think I have a unique, or not a unique perspective, but a relevant perspective because I use and abuse books quite often. I'm not somebody who collects books as collector's items or just keeps them in pristine condition. So without further ado, I'm going to get into these questions and maybe I'll rip apart a book in the process. All right, question 1. What are your thoughts on spine breaking? Or, breaking that spine right in half, or in this case of my copy of Anna Karenina, it's just absolutely butchered on the spine. Now, my opinion, I don't care about breaking spines. Like, if you're gonna read a book, you have to open it. It just depends on the publisher and how they make the book. Now, some editions are like immune to spine cracking, and some, maybe these old penguins, not sure, but some of these just break at the slightest touch. I don't think you should necessarily try to crack a spine. I know it makes it look more red. I don't try myself, but sometimes it just happens. Now, this is a used copy. I haven't actually read Anna Karenina. But it does show that you have read the book. It's not just a collector's item for the shelf. It shows that you've really gotten into it. Maybe you've read it more than a couple times. And if on a first reading, you've read it all the way through and it doesn't show, that's okay. It doesn't matter what other people think. It just matters how you read, what you get out of it, or how you enjoy it. Not everything's about getting something out of a book. So yeah, spine cracking, definitely okay, but even I don't try to do it on purpose. It's just a hazard of reading books. So, yeah. All right, question number 2 is about bookmarks and dog-earing pages. Now, when I'm reading, I prefer to use a bookmark as my method of keeping track of which page I'm on. I like to collect bookmarks from different places, like places I've been. Like, this is from a bookstore in Boston. This one's from Canada. Here's some cool one my mother got me. It's Shakespeare. It's got the little dongle, not dongle. And then some that I just find in used books. Like this one, it's about James Joyce, something his wife wrote, but it's from a bookstore in Arizona that I've never been to. So I think it's cool to collect and use bookmarks. As for dog earing, I don't have a problem with it. Like, yeah, I know it creases the page, but it gets the job done. I know tabbing is pretty big right now. It's aesthetically pleasing, and you can really divide up what you're trying to note down in the book without having to dog ear. On a few books in the past, well, I think I was using Ryan Holiday's note-taking system. I would dog ear each page that I wanted to come back to, and that ended up getting kind of tedious. So I'll show here from a reading I did of Love and Responsibility by Pope John Paul II. I never finished this, but I did tab up the first part, or the first half, quite a bit. And I even used like whole sticky notes to write a lot more than I could have done on the page otherwise. See, there's nothing written on the page. It's just tabs and sticky notes. And I think it's a pretty good method. It does take a little while. to do fully and correctly, but that's what I would do instead of dog earing. Question number 3 is page tearing or ripping. Now, if you're intentionally ripping a page, I think that's pretty heinous. I don't really see a reason to do that. You could like take a picture of it if you wanted, or print out a copy from a PDF. But if you're tearing it out of the book, then it's no longer in the book. So that makes no sense. I don't know anyone that does that. If you do that, I would like to meet you so I can see your face and know who to avoid. But that being said, I do sometimes not treat my books very well. I got a couple here that I took into the desert when I went on a trip. This is a little pocket-sized Siddhartha by Hermann Hesse. Can't really tell, but it's just kind of beat up. There's nothing really wrong with it. Then I got this copy in 1984 by George Orwell, and it looks like some dog just went to town on the cover. I think it's just poor quality of the plastic or whatever this cover was made of. I didn't try to do this, but it just fell apart, and maybe I'll get a more solid edition in the future, but it doesn't like break the aestheticism for me or anything. It's just it is what it is kind of thing. So, question number 4 is writing in books. Is that cool? Is it not cool? I know books are meant to be read, but are they meant to be written in, or does that destroy the sanctity of the knowledge or the story within? Now, I'll say I don't really write in fiction books at all, but I go to town on nonfiction books. Like underlining, highlighting, writing notes. I feel that writing in my books, it puts myself into the book. Myself at the time that I'm reading, I can look back and see where I was, see like why I was writing what I was writing, why I highlighted what I highlighted. It helps me when I come back to understand who I was at the time of reading and understand my own interpretations of what was being put on the page. So I'm a huge proponent of writing in books. Now, I don't think you have to write in books. I think you should write about what you've written. It doesn't have to be directly on the page. As I said earlier, you can use tabs, whatever accessory you like, or you can just have a notebook on the side and write in those, or like transfer notes into. It's not necessary, but I think it's a great practice for nonfiction books that you want to put into practice. Something that you've read in there, it really helps to write things down and analyze the text and annotate so you know where to come back to. It's easier to figure things out that way. So I'm a huge proponent of writing in books. This is my copy of Discourses by Epictetus. I have read this, I think, 2 or 3 times and just mucked it up. And it's one of my favorite books as a result, because it's no longer just Epictetus in here. It's me. This is our shared book now. And I think that's really powerful. Question number 5 is ripping covers and bookbinding. No comment. If you do that, cool. If the cover looks good, I think it's probably a neat investment. But other than that, nothing to say. If it pleases you, go and do it. I'm not gonna stop you. Somebody else might, but not me. So go do your thing. And question 6 is not a question. It's tag some people. Now, I wasn't tagged in this, but I saw videos from The Active Mind and Nicole's Bookish Nook. So I won't tag them because they already did it. But I will tag my great friend Jared Henderson, who definitely doesn't hate me. And I know he won't do this tag, but I'm calling him out anyways. Sorry. But yeah, thanks for watching. Let me know in the comments if you abuse books like I do, or if you have beef with me for what I've said in this video, or for that 1984 cover that I showed you. I promise it wasn't totally my fault, but I did mistreat it a little bit. But yeah, I think it's great to write in books and mark them up. And it's not about showing that you've read it, but it's about interacting with the text. And the wear and tear is just a byproduct of the effort that you put into learning. So thanks for watching. See you in the next one.